Hello and welcome. Today's lesson is going to be about solving equations, and we're going to demonstrate how to solve equations following four steps. Step one is eliminate parentheses. Step two is combine like terms. Step three is cancel the numbers. And step four is divide both sides. We're going to use the Desmos calculator alongside to demonstrate how to use the calculator and how to solve equations. So let's begin. Here we have an equation with parentheses. First thing I noticed is that there's no number between the sign and the parentheses, so therefore right here I'm going to put an invisible 1 because I know there's a 1 right there. Okay, same applies over here. There's no number in front of the x, so there is an invisible 1 right there. So know that you can add those ones right there. All right, so my first order of business is to eliminate parentheses. So since the 5 is not attached to a parenthesis, I'm just going to bring it down. Now, negative 1 times 2, using the calculator, negative 1 times 2 gives me negative 2. So I write negative 2x. Okay, then I'm going to do negative 1 times 6. So negative 1 times 6. And the answer is negative 6. So I come over here to my paper and I write negative 6. Here's the equal sign. Please notice that I drew a line right there because on an equation, there's two sides, the left side and the right side. And we usually draw a line right there to divide those two sides. So let's continue multiplying. Here I have 3 times 1. So go on the calculator, 3 times 1. And notice I got a positive 3. So then I write positive 3x. Notice I don't have to write the sign because this is at the beginning of the expression. If a sign is positive and is at the beginning of an expression, you don't have to write the sign. Let's go ahead and multiply 3 times 3. So here we go. 3 times 3. And we get 9. Notice this time that on the calculator it doesn't show positive, but we know it's a positive number. And here, when I write it down, because I have something in front of the 9, I must write the positive sign. Okay, so if it's not at the beginning of an expression, the positive sign must show. Okay, so that's why I wrote it. So I'm done with the first step, which is eliminate parentheses. Next step is to combine like terms. What does it mean, combine like terms? If you notice, 5 is not like 2x because 5 does not have x and 2 has an x next to it. 6 does not have an x, so we say that 6 and 5 are like terms because they both don't have the letter x next to it. So that means I can combine these two together because they are like terms. On the other side, there's no like terms, so the only like terms I have is 5 and 6. So let's go ahead and combine that. So I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to write just like it's on the paper, 5 minus 6. And I get negative 1. So that means when I combine 5 minus 6, I get negative 1. And with the negative 2x, I'm going to bring it down. Here, there's nothing to combine, so I'm going to bring it down. So if you notice, I finished combining like terms. I was able to combine 5 and 6, and I got negative 1, and I brought down the negative 2x. Notice that I'm trying to move the numbers close to the middle so that I stay right there in the middle with the equal sign. Okay, next one is to cancel the numbers. So basically on an equation, we want the numbers with letters on this side and numbers without letters on this side. Negative 1 does not have a letter, so it is on the wrong side because this side I want to reserve only for numbers with letters. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cancel negative 1. If I want to cancel a negative number, all I have to do is add that number. So I change the sign from negative to positive, and now negative 1 plus 1 will cancel. Now, one thing with the equation is if you do one thing on one side, you must do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to put positive 1 right there under the 9. Why did I put under the 9? Because 9 does not have a letter, and 1 doesn't have a letter. It would be incorrect to put the 1 under the 3x because 3 has an x. Okay, so very good. Now, who else is in the wrong place? Okay, if you notice, 3 has an x, and this side I want to reserve for numbers without x, so I need to cancel 3x. 3x is positive. So to cancel positive 3x, I'm going to do minus 3x. If I do on one side, I must do on the other side. So now the 3x cancel, the negative 1 cancels. And notice what I have. I have only numbers with x's here. And on the other side, I have numbers without letter. But that's exactly what I want. Now I'm going to combine that. You just write exactly what you see on the paper. So I see negative 2, negative 3. So I write negative 2, negative 3, and I get negative 5x. On the other side, I have positive 9 plus 1. So I get positive 10. So with that, I have canceled the numbers. I got numbers with x on this side, number with no x on this side. The last step is to divide both sides. We're going to divide both sides by the number that is next to the letter x. Next to the letter x is negative 5, so we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. What that does is the 5 cancel, the negative cancels, and the only thing that is not canceled is the letter x, and that's what I want. I want to find out what the value of x is. Now I go to the calculator. 10 divided by negative 5. So I'm going to type 10. The division button is right there. Divided by negative 5. Press enter, and we get negative 2. So there we go. We have solved the equation following 4 steps. So let's go on to the next problem and try to follow the same steps. So here I have another equation. I see parentheses, so I'm going to follow the steps. Eliminate parentheses. I'm going to do negative 8 times this y. Remember, there's an invisible 1. Same thing here. There's an invisible 1. So I can use my calculator, and I use negative 8 times 1, and I get negative 8. So I write negative 8, and I make sure to remember to write the y. Notice I do not put the letter on the calculator. I just put the numbers, negative 8 times 1. But when I write it on the paper, I need to remember to put the variable. In other words, the letter, in this case, y. Now I'm going to multiply negative 8 times 1, which you already did. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. Again, negative 8 times 1y. We already did that in the calculator, so we know that's going to be negative 8y. And then we're going to do negative 8 times 5, press enter, and we get negative 40. Here's the equal sign. This side does not have parentheses, so all we are going to do is bring down the numbers. So bring down the 4, bring down the negative 11y, and bring down the positive 1. Very good. We have finished the first step, which is eliminate parentheses. Now we're going to combine like terms. We combine one side at a time. So first the left side. Who can I combine? I can combine negative 8 with negative 8. And I can combine negative 8 here with negative 40. These I can combine because have letter y, and these I can combine because have no letter. On the other side of the equation, I can combine negative 4 with positive 1 because they both don't have a letter. And negative 11y cannot combine with anybody, so we're just going to bring it down. Now that I have decided who I'm going to combine, I'm going to use my calculator. Negative 8, negative 8. So negative 8 minus 8 gives me negative 16y. Okay. Next one is negative 8 minus 40. So negative 8 minus 40 gives me negative 48. On the other side, I have negative 4 plus 1. So let's go ahead and do that. Negative 4 plus 1 gives me negative 3. And now we bring down the negative 11y. Very good. We have finished combining like terms. Now we're ready for step 3. Step 3 is to cancel the numbers. And I'm sorry I made a typo there, so let's cross that out. This says cancel the numbers. Who am I going to cancel? Remember, this side is for numbers with letters. 16 has a letter, so it's on the right side. 48 does not have a letter, so it's on the wrong side, so we need to cancel. How do we cancel? We change the sign. This is negative, becomes positive 48. And remember, if you do one thing on one side, you must do the same on the other side. So I'm going to put positive 48, and I put under 3 because 3 does not have a letter. Now, who else is on the wrong side? Well, 11y is on this side, and this side is reserved for numbers without letters. So we need to cancel negative 11y. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 11y to both sides. Now that I've done that, I draw a line. The 11 cancels, the 48 cancels, and then I'm left with this. Numbers with letters, numbers without letters, and now I can use the calculator. So I'm going to go to my calculator, negative 16 plus 11, enter. And I'm also going to go ahead and do negative 3 plus 48. Good. So negative 16 plus 11, I got negative 5y. And negative 3 plus 48 is positive 45. And please notice that I tried to move things towards the center, so my equal sign is all lined up. Okay, so I have canceled the numbers, and now my last step is to divide both sides. We're going to divide both sides by the number next to the letter y. In this case, is negative 5. So the negative cancels, the 5 cancels. Notice the only thing that is left uncanceled is y. And that's exactly what I want. And then 45 divided by negative 5. There's 45 divided by negative 5. We get negative 9. So there you go. This concludes the lesson for today. We showed how to solve equations following 4 steps. Eliminate parentheses, combine like terms, cancel the numbers, divide both sides. We did that using the Desmos calculator. And I hope this video is helpful. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.